Hey guys, welcome to another video. So as you can see, it's looking a little bit like spring as we go along, and the snow is melting a lot, which is amazing because I really want it to go away. So I figured I would do a video on Sophie's life story because I love story time, so videos. So I figured I'd do one for my channel. So yeah. So if you all didn't know, this is Sophie. She's so cute, and she's 10 years old right now. Her birthday is on November 1st, and she is really, really adorable. And we always get compliments at stores or other places like that, and everybody's like, oh my goodness, she's the cutest thing I've ever seen. And like, not many people say that about just any animal. So yeah, because I've never had anybody come up to me about that. So yeah. Anyways, so her life story starts at a park. Basically, it was a park, but it was like very popular because it was out in the country. It was about like 30 minutes out in the country, and there is these big buildings, and they had, so basically it was where people used to work in the olden days. They used to make stuff there, and there was big factories there, and there was picnic places, and I think if you go 2 minutes down, there was camping spots. She was a stray at that park, and we don't know we don't know a lot about what she did when she was there, but we do know that she was a stray, and she was like 2 months or younger. So then somebody called animal control about her, and she wound up at the Humane Society. Well, it turns out they do their evaluations like they do with every dog that comes in, and it turns out she had parvo, which is a very deadly disease. Not many dogs survive it. Basically, parvo is puking and diarrhea, but it's more common in puppies. I don't even think it can be in older dogs, and they can go paralyzed, which means they can't walk. So it's really bad, and then somebody came along, which is my parrot's friend, and right till this day, and they came to the shelter looking for a dog, and they saw her sitting in the back of her kennel looking sad, and they're like, can we see this dog? And people are like, no, you can't, you wouldn't want this dog because she has the deadly disease. And actually they were gonna put her down that same day in the afternoon. They came in like the morning, and they were gonna put her down later that day. They didn't think she was any good anymore. So then they're like, we're gonna take her, and they said, you realize her medical bills are gonna like cost like $1,000 and more, and they're like, we don't care, we're gonna help her. And they're like, okay, and almost like, don't tell you, we didn't warn you. So well, anyways, so they adopted her, and they got a vet, and they helped her out, and I think she might have been paralyzed. I am not sure. Paralyzed dogs can also, I think they can gain strength in their legs, because if she was paralyzed, it wasn't too bad, but she's always had like this stiff kind of hip thing, even before her surgery, which we'll talk about later. Yeah, and so as a puppy, as she grew, she chewed on the house. I think she chewed on like the base part over like that kind of thing, like just right there. She chewed on the side of the house and at the corners, I think. So Sophie had 2 shock collars on her because she was not trained. She would run away. So she had a shock collar to keep her away from the house and a shock collar to keep her near the house. So basically there would be a line like right here and she can't go over there, and then there would be like a line right here and there. She lived in the country, which that was a good thing because they probably would have had acres of land. So it's not, she had lots of room still. So she lived with another dog. And this dog was a Boston Terrier. So if you know, they're like this high and they're black and white and they have pointy ears like Max. Well, that dog loved to play, and at one point Sophie loved to play so much, like she was almost obsessed as Max is. And then she was playing one day and the dog took it from her and she bit her tongue, and she's always been afraid to play with toys ever since. But she's not anymore, but we'll get to that in a little bit. So basically she was an outdoor dog, which basically means they didn't let her inside unless it was really, really bad weather, like a storm or something. So, and even that, they would put her in the garage, not the outside. And I think she had a doggy door to the garage, but they would probably lock the doggy door so she couldn't go outside, just because it would be not good for her to be outside. So then they moved to the city. Well, like, it's not actually a bad city. Like, it's not a capital or anything like that. It's like a suburb. Whatever, I don't know how to say those words. And it was a big house. It was like 2 stories. And they had a kid. So then that meant he couldn't spend his whole time with her. He had to stay with the kid sometimes, and he had a job. So she was she didn't get to go inside. They still took care of her. They still fed her. They still watered her, but they didn't give her attention barely and stuff like that. And their other dog lived inside, so it was kind of not fair for her. Then they had a second kid, 2 years after, and they're like, okay, we cannot take care of her. So we took her, and my mom was looking for dogs because I really need dogs, and because I was about to move. So she got me this dog right here, and she was actually going to get me a corgi, which is an even smaller dog than a Boston Terrier, and they have little stubby legs. And but we saw Sophie instead, and she was more in need of a home because she lived outside and the dog lives in a comfortable kennel, so difference there. And we don't know if that dog was trained or not. So, hey Max, we don't know what that dog was like. So it's a lot better to have Sophie since she was trained and she knew go to rug. She's looking at me like, what? I don't see a rug. So she knew go to rug and she knew how to sit. And I think she knew how to lay down. Those are the only tricks that she knew. So I taught her a whole bunch of other tricks. I taught her how to stay. I taught her how to come. And by the time we got her, she knew recall really well because she's probably scarred from all those shot collars, aren't you, Thea? So, yeah. And so, few years later, we're here, and then she gets this whole yard, and she starts having seizures, which, if you don't know what that is, it's basically they can't control. Basically, a chemical reaction happens in their brain, and they can't they flip out basically. So it's hopefully someday I'll catch it on camera, but it's kind of like jerking. So like they can't, so their body tells them to do something that isn't supposed to happen. So I'll just try to explain it the best I can, what it looks like. But basically, if you type in seizures in YouTube, you can see one happen, but on a dog. But basically, first she foams in the mouth, and first she kind of like shakes her head like she's trying to get something out of her tongue, and then she'll stop for a moment, and then she'll kind of fall over, like almost like she lost her balance, but it really doesn't look like she lost her balance. So she'll just fall over, she'll start urinating and pooping on herself and all that stuff, and basically she'll start looking like she's on like her side of her, like, hey, lay down little. She'll be like that, like laying on her side, and then her back feet and her front feet will be like moving like this non-stop, and it can last for about like 1 to 5 minutes, really. The longest one is probably like 2 minutes we've had, and it takes them a long time to get out of it because their brain still hasn't come back, and their eyes will go kind of, different. Usually, I've actually gotten to the point where I can sense her seizures. It's kind of weird, but I can feel when she's different. So anyways, so then we went to the vet and we got pills, all that stuff. And then her leg, she started to limp. So, and as you can see, we've had surgery on that leg just recently. And on December 7th, we've had surgery for that leg because of her limping. And she tore a ligament in there. And if you want to go see what we had to do to help her, go watch a video called cruciate leg ligament something. It's, if you scroll down all the way, you can probably find it. But yeah, so we've had surgery. We've had 2 seizures. Max, you're gonna get all dirty. Look at him. He's all dirty. He just dug a hole, you guys. So yeah. So that's basically Sophie's life. And then she's still here today. She's really old, but she's in good condition still, which is really awesome because I don't know what I think I might, bad things will happen if she dies, I think. Which is good because I'm not ready to have bad things happen to me. So yeah. She's still so adorable. Hi, Silver. Silver, what you doing? Hi, Maxie. Whoa, you're pretty. If you want me to do one of Max, it might not be as long because Max does not have a big history that we know of. It's not like we got him from somebody we know. So, yeah. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe on the computer up there and a tablet down there. And yeah, go show some, wow, that toy was, go show some love to my videos. Make sure you go subscribe to all my friends and subscribe to me if you have not, because I would love for you to subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye. And make sure you tell me if you want to do one of Max.